Today we're going to talk about the winning OTT deck that won GP Akiba over the weekend. We're going to analyze it. A lot of people have been saying that the winner Rio was very lucky in getting a bunch of crits and winning, but when you actually analyze the deck and the tournament that it is used for, you'll see that it was a very smart deck choice. Let's talk a bit about the player Rio. Rio is a pretty well-known player in Japan. He writes for the Yute blog and came second last year at GP Akiba running an Alfred Tarna deck. He also attended Worlds for Standard Team Tournament and has topped quite a lot of tournaments in the Japanese Vanguard scene like VGCSs. He recently qualified for GP Akiba with a similar OTT build that he took to the finals, with this final build being way more streamlined. So let's analyze the deck. When you look at the deck, you see that it's running 4 of everything. When we run 4 of a card, it's basically a card that you always want to see when you play. And this is true for this deck. You always want to see every card in this deck at least once. However, the other reason why is because Rio is running the Magical Kaliko starter. If you've played other card games, Magical Kaliko is similar to something like Painful Choice from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Gifts Ungiven in Magic, except better. Magical Kaliko will always allow you to get the card that you want as long as there are 3 copies of it left in the deck. The only card that you wouldn't want to get from Magical Kaliko is Battle Sister Orangette or any of the grade 3s. Also, when you use Magical Kaliko's ability, it thins the deck by 3, making you trigger more often. The Forerunner ability is also important as it fills one slot on one of your side columns so you can pressure more. You generally want to pressure with a Vanguard and a Rearguard column early. Noticeably, this deck is not running any Silent Toms or Perfect Guards. When we think of OTT, we usually think of the Ichitom build that tries to go for the near unblockable combo with original Ichikishima and V-Series Silent Tom. With the new premium collection Ichikishima, it has really buffed this kind of deck in that you pretty much are pushing your opponent to a damage point where they are successful to this combo quicker. However, Rio's build is all about destroying your opponent on the first stride. You're meant to scry for a crit or just somehow trigger a crit in the early game by getting lucky if you don't have the scry cards, and then on your premium collection Ichikishima stride, stack 2 crits and kill them. Your opponent is unable to perfect guard because premium collection Ichikishima's ability negates perfect guards. So they have to hard guard that big Vanguard attack with a looming double critical. This is also why there's no perfect cards in the deck. They don't contribute to winning, and they can serve as a liability in a format where there's a lot of premium collection Ichikishimas that negate those perfect guards. This makes this deck faster than other Ichikishima decks out there, and in fact makes it faster than a lot of other decks currently in the premium metagame. Let's talk about some of the card choices. Why play Battle Sister Orangette? If you see this card early, it allows you to fight the grade 2 game, but also allows you to hit 20k with an 8k boost. Hitting magic numbers early with this deck will allow you to punch crits through, setting you up for the double crit play. And this brings me to the big MVP in this deck, Battle Sister Panettone. When you draw this card early, it allows you to boost a Vanguard, putting pressure on your opponent to no guard. Later on, you can cash this card in by using its effect, scrying the top deck to reach those crits. You can also use it early as well to scry crit and force your next trigger to gain an extra 10k power. When used early, the amount of guard your opponent has to commit is pretty rough. Rio used it perfectly in the second game where he creates a 20k Vanguard column and a 9k Rearguard column and scries a crit with Panettone. His opponent is now forced to commit 35k guard to guard the Vanguard column and then another 25k guard to guard this side. At best, his opponent has to commit 2 perfect guards, which is pretty hard to do in the early game. In the end, his opponent was only able to perfect guard the Vanguard and take the rear guard, thereby taking a crit. The other cool thing about this deck is running 4 old Psychic Birds. If you've played OTT, you'll know this feeling where you have this awkward situations where you scry the top 2 cards of Kyore Magus and hit blanks. By having old Psychic Bird in your hand, you can draw one of those blanks and try to get to your triggers. Combine this with Premium Collection Ichikishima and the Premium Collection Draw Crit, you can effectively get through your blanks. In game 1, Ryo sees 2 blanks with an early Rectangle Magus, and he was able to draw the other blank out with Psychic Bird. One thing also is that when you hit a blank with one of these scries and can draw that non-trigger, you're effectively drawing into your combo pieces for your first stride. The last card I want to talk about is Bobo. Ryo played Bobo in both games, both times hitting a crit with Bobo's damage effect. I want to say that Ryo didn't search Bobo because he wanted to style on his opponent, even though it's a really sick play. For sure, Bobo contributes to your double crit play. However, its main job is still to find a way to make plays for you. In the first game, Ryo's opponent kept him at 1 free counterblast. You generally want 3 counterblasts to make a full turn play. 1 for riding to get that extra card with Imperial Daughter or Hexagonal Magus. 1 to activate Premium Collection Ichikishima's effect. And the last one to use Tetra Magus to stack a crit on top. Bobo turns 1 free counterblast into 3 counterblast. The perfect amount of counterblast for your plays. The damage triggering a crit is just icing on the cake. But if you have the resources to make the damage happen as well, that's perfect because it's contributing to the double crit play that you want to do. It even has the potential to push a kill when your opponent is at 2 damage. Now let's talk a bit about the metagame. This tournament was an invitational tournament where only the winners of the qualifiers could join. This means that you probably had to win only 3 or 4 games in Swiss to make top cut, and then win 4 more games to win the whole thing. Compared to a bigger tournament in the States or Europe, you don't really need to bring a deck that is super consistent to this tournament. You can bring a slightly less consistent deck that can steamroll good players when it draws well. Since this tournament also had qualifiers, you might have half an idea on what the others will be playing, so you can try and gain some favorable matchups. This is what was played at the tournament. We don't have everyone's exact deck list, but we can see how favorable the OTT deck was. You're favored against Royals, as Royals cannot effectively kill you before your first stride. You might beat a lot of Oracles if they're playing the traditional build. Against Shadows, you might not even need to stride Ichikishima to win. You could play the grade 2 game and just Seabreeze and stack double crits, and they probably don't have enough cards to guard. You pretty much beat Dark Irregulars because they can't fight the grade 2 game, and you can just see him beating the DI player on stream. And with Great Nature, they just can't guard as well, because these decks are running a lot of the old cards that don't have higher guard values. The decks that are kind of a bad matchup for you is Golds, because they can high roll you and try to push you out early, but even then, they usually can't beat you before you combo off your first stride. There's also Bermuda, who can actually try and deny damage and draw a lot of cards, and then use Ellie, because Ellie is just that good. But still, you can always just crit a few times and win from there, so it's not extremely bad. Overall, this deck is extremely fine-tuned for the premium metagame, and would likely be a huge staple in the metagame for a while. Right now, we don't have Panettone, which is the MVP in my opinion, so this deck is not as strong as it could be, but that card is coming out in BCS, so look out. The only counters to this deck will be to keep it at 0 damage, so 1 Bobo doesn't enable the 3 damage play, but if they have 2 Bobos, they're still good to go. So Congratulations to Ryo, who finally was able to take the win this year, and hopefully we can see him at Worlds again. Be sure to check out the GP Akiba stream of the top 4. Both games were really cool to watch. And that's it from me. Hope you guys like this deck analysis, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.